How discover one's true voice? Well, let me first say what kind of voice you'd like to discover, because man has different types of voices. Let's say one is natural, the one that he croons with the guitar, or sings jazz, which is more natural, I'd say. And then you have classical voice, that is a powerful voice that needs no amplification, no microphones in the big venues, like 5,000 people. So it depends on what you're discovering, actually. Let us discover if we have a classical voice. If you personally have a classical voice. It's important to know that we have to be absolutely unprejudiced with this exercise, particular exercise that I'm going to propose to you. We have to empty our mind, as the Buddhists say. Well, I'm not demanding you to become a Buddhist monk, but what in this particular case, I would like you to be free from prejudices that you have about your voice. What kind of prejudices you can have? For example, you have a particular speaking voice, and the big mistakes were made because most of the time the speaking voice reflects the singing voice. If I speak like this, I'm a tenor.
And if I speak like this, I'm definitely not a tenor. I'm probably a bass or a baritone.
This is a common knowledge because mostly people speak, and that will reflect their singing technique later on. But since we don't want to make any mistakes, we need to be absolutely unprejudiced about what type of voice we can have. Another prejudice is that occurs a little bit on a more advanced level. When you, let's say, you think you're a tenor and you're also already singing tenor, or you're baritone, or you're bass, or soprano, that is because you already gone through certain classes, or you've been in a choir and you were able to sing high notes, and your choir master told you, listen, yes, you're a tenor, you're a soprano, we need you. Or you were able to sing lower notes and you've been placed as a baritone or a bass. That is a very simplistic understanding of the voice. If I can sing high note, I'm a tenor or a soprano, and if I can sing a low note, I'm a baritone. If you watched my extreme vocals, that disproves that knowledge altogether. How can we be unprejudiced and really discover what our voice is? And I mean, in that particular case, a classical voice. The exercise I propose to you is the exercise that is based on yawning. Why should we yawn? Because yawning is naturally moves down the larynx, which is necessary for singing, classical singing, and lifts up the soft palate. Why do we need that in singing? We need that in singing because we need bigger chamber of resonance. It's like a deck of the guitar, of another acoustic instrument that requires a certain space for the sound to be amplified. That is not, as is unquestionable, everybody agrees, every science oriented teacher who knows what's going on, and every singer in the world probably knows that the larynx should be in a low position. And so that the reason I'm giving you is the reason, because that is the position of the larynx we need to obtain. The exact position of the larynx is questionable, of course, but that's what we're going to discover. When we yawn, we increase the space inside our throat. So we increase possibilities of having better resonance. So in doing this, I would recommend you to yawn, inhale, okay, and then try to keep this position unforced. Try to produce just a resonant sound, like anything, like
ah, he, oh.
You see? So this is not a vocal sound yet, but it's a resonant sound. And if you experiment with that a little bit, you will discover a comfortable zone when this resonance comes easy and it produces a bigger sound than just normally if you do it without using this technique. I wanted to add up to be not too vague about what you should do. It's very good to try your resonance with this sliding or scooping voice resonance exercise. It's like not actually getting into the concrete note, not singing a particular note, but just scanning it. It also gives a good psychological freedom from singing, and it's easier to do it actually because to support the one tone you require a certain experience with the diaphragm and with breathing. So try to do this, try to improvise. You can use basically your own invention if you like, but you have to watch when your resonance really increases and when you feel free. So again, what you can do is you can experiment with different lower and higher, middle, whatever, and without any prejudice. You need that open mind. And just discover where you sound most comfortable and more resonant. That is called a natural register. Discovering the natural register is very important because from that, your teacher has to develop your voice. Not from the high note that you sing and you B flat, your tenor, squeezing this poor B flat, or the low F that your bass, hardly managing to sing that low. This is not the way to understand the true nature of the voice. The true nature of the voice is the natural ability of your bone structure and vocal cords and everything. That depends on many things. It depends on the length of your vocal cords. It depends on the thickness of your vocal cords. It depends on the structure of your throat. Many things. But it depends also on psychology. How is that? Well, psychologically, we want to be in a certain category of voice. It means that some singers just want to be tenors because they like tenor voices. And some people like to be baritones and they don't like tenor voices. Whatever, you know, and that makes you think, and sometimes psychologically you incline to think, I'm going to be a tenor, nothing else, or a baritone or a bass. That is denying the God-given nature to your voice. That is denial of that. And you can pay a big price. If you're going to the vocal, if you're going to be an opera singer, you might develop so-called a short voice, that you will be able to reach really this demanding 2-octave register that is necessary to be an opera singer, and the power that is necessary. Or you will link into so-called placement schools where your voice will sound like 3 voices. Sometimes it will sound beautiful, some on the top notes it will sound like you squeezing it or you putting too much in the mask. That is all denying the nature and the true nature, natural voice, I would say. So this is an experiment that is going to teach you and give you the idea where is your natural resonance. So that is important. So after that, so you can experiment, and I recommend you to do that on a regular basis and try different registers of your voice. An important thing is that you yawn and then you think where you feel really most comfortable. Where is your voice response most comfortably to you? So try this and you will see that this can bring you very interesting results. It might be even surprising for you. Thank you very much. This was Franco Tenelli, Science of Singing.